y'all, this is Marley K. Hope y'all are well. Got a crazy rabbit hole I'm getting ready to take y'all down. It is so wild, but I'm about that life. Before I get started, though, I'm going to tell y'all if anything happened to me, I didn't do it to myself. Okay. All right. Doing the Lord's work here. Let's get into it. All right. This story is on Microsoft Start. It came out on Friday. This is the beginning of the rabbit hole. Now, y'all been hearing about all this. Oh, it's so hot. It's been hot. It's been the hottest it's ever been. Like the earth is thousands of years old. How do they know that it's the hottest it's ever been? They just are making up narratives and just saying stuff, and people are just picking it up and running with it, and that's what they want people to do. But I don't necessarily believe that because y'all know I keep my conspiracy theorist hat on. So it's summertime. It's supposed to be hot. Some years it is. You have multiple days where it's in the hundreds, depending on where you live, or it's dry, or it's um, you don't get rain for a period. Usually within cycles, things work itself out if the powers don't be manipulating the atmosphere. And that's what they've been doing. So now they want to blame us for all the issues and have a climate emergency declared. So I just find the timing of it really suspicious. I told y'all they are trying to accelerate all the things that they want to do. And I'm not sure why. I don't know if this is a part of their time frame. I don't know if it has anything to do with Papa and his son and then got jammed up and got caught in the lies and they want him removed. They're talking about impeaching him. So they got to get him to do all the stuff that he had intended to do for the duration of this term and possibly the next term in order to meet their agenda goals and objectives. I guess that's the best way to say it. So let's get into this story and then I'm going to take y'all down this rabbit hole. So it says, we warn you about this heat. Joe Biden, a leading scientist, scolds. Declare a climate emergency. So this scientist is basically screaming at Joe Biden, we told you this was coming. Declare a climate emergency. Now, this dude doesn't work for NASA. He doesn't work for the government. And I did some research into him and he's a suspect. So that's how I ended up in the rabbit hole. I like to do research. So I had time today and I found some interesting stuff. I'll just say that. Okay, so it says we've passed into a ferocious new phase of global heating with much worse to come. Biden must declare a climate emergency. So they're wanting to do this climate emergency so they can do climate lockdowns. Once they do this, ain't no going back because this is the thing that's coming through the UN. So this is where the Eco Sabbath, the Mark of the Beast, the National Sunday, Day of Rest, all these things, this is what's happening. So you got to keep it in context with biblical prophecy in addition to just like what's going on in the country. So it says that's no nonsense. That's the no nonsense call to action leveled directly at U.S. President Joe Biden from one of the world's leading climate scientists and authors, Peter Kalmus, who wrote an opinion piece this week in The Guardian. And notice now, all this stuff is happening at the same time. It's hot. Everybody talking about it's hot. It's hot in Florida. It's hot in the Midwest. It's hot on the West Coast. It's hot in Europe. It's hot everywhere. And while I was recording this video, I got like 4 notifications. I don't know. I'm sure this thing probably listened to me. I was about to cuss. Um, this phone must be listening to me, but it sent me notifications like 4 times to tell me that um it's hot. 77 million people are at risk of heat, whatever, heat advisory. Not here where I live, but just bombard me with messages about the heat index and what I'm supposed to do about it. The point I'm trying to make is the evil communications are sending messages to everybody driving home that it's hot. But we don't really know it's hot because all these communications are coming from digital sources. So like this gonna be the new God. This is what the future is gonna be like if you stuck here. Which is why you better be trying to get your life together and get on up out of here. Cause don't nobody want to be here for this stuff. This right here just too much to even navigate. Can you imagine being awakened and being stuck here left behind because you decided you want to go fornicate or, keep being intoxicated or not keeping Sabbath? Look, it's going to be rough here. Y'all better be trying to get yourself together and get on up out of here on time. Don't get on up out of here. I'm telling you now. We leaving on time. That's the channel. It's the on time channel. We want to be on the plane getting up out of here. I want to be on the first exodus. I don't want to be here getting my head chopped off. I want to be gone. All right, back to the story. The op-ed printed in the same week that international weather organizations, all together in unison, declared July the hottest month ever for Earth. How they know? How do they know? How do you know the Earth is like 6,000 years old? Thousands of years older. How they know? They wasn't here. There are no records. Nobody was taking the temperature back then. Everything was good. How do they know? So this is just, another example of how they fluff and say stuff and people don't use their common sense and think like, what they mean? I ain't finna bring y'all no stories about no heat because it's hot. It's just hot. It's summertime. It's supposed to be hot. God made 4 seasons. He said you're gonna know the seasons. It's a season. It's supposed to be hot. The end. And within days of the United Nations head declaring a new era of global boiling, notice that declaration just came beyond just global warming. It's also the same week that Biden convened a White House rollout of federal help to make communities, especially outdoor workers, more resilient against extreme heat. Like the real feel, temperatures above 100 degrees Fahrenheit hitting New York and much of the I 95 corridor Friday after scorching other parts of the country earlier. Around 150 million people, or about half the U.S. population, are under heat alerts. Wildfires send smoke into the U.S. Wildfires that send smoke into the U.S. continue to burn in Canada, while the ocean off South Florida reached hot tub temps in recent days. Scientists and policymakers blame, listen to this, man made climate change from driving cars, wasting food, and constantly running technology, as well as a boost from a warming El Nino, the recurring weather phenomenon whose latest impact scientists say is only beginning. Calmus, who can claim a prolific batch of published scientific papers, which I'm going to take y'all to, I'm finna show y'all the BS. I ain't saying that his papers is BS, but I'm saying it's some BS afoot. It's some shenanigans and some chicaneries afoot. From work with NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab and elsewhere, and was once sanctioned by the scientific community for protest. Ramped up his rebuke from there. That was performative. Y'all know how they do. We are careening toward fossil fuel heat waves that will kill over 1 million people in single events. And it will not plateau there. More fossil fuels, more heat, more death. The only way out is to end fossil fuels, he wrote. No amount of tree planting, recycling, carbon offsetting, or wishful carbon capture thinking will ever change this. So they keep on creating problems and then they create solutions. But at the end of the day, this is all a shenanigan. It's like a shell game so that the Antichrist can come on the scene and rule his government for a period and destroy all the things that he wanted to destroy, take all the souls he wanted to take, and um, control all the people he wanted to control before his reign is over. So they know and he knows his time is nearing an end. And so they are accelerating the agenda. I also think Papa is getting ready to get up out of there and Papa is the man. I think they were expecting him to maybe do this full term and maybe a portion of the next term, but it looks like that might not happen. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just putting my tinfoil hat on. And so they've accelerated their agenda in order to make sure he does whatever he is assigned to do, which is why they put him in the pot to be elected. But this is why they always care about what we do and what we think, because whether we know it or not, we be putting these people in power. We put these people in power. Black people do. We push them over the top. They need us. They love to tell us our votes don't count, and that's why they fight so hard to keep us from voting, or I guess give the appearance that our votes actually matter. But again, at the end of the day, it gives the appearance that we always pick the wrong people. The outcome is determined by the people that they want to produce the outcome. But we don't necessarily know that because we're not that involved into all these secret societies and all this shenanigans that they be doing. It says, I have no doubt that fossil fuel executives and lobbyists and those who chose to stand with them will, in the future, be considered criminals. I don't know how. If ain't nobody been considered a criminal for killing all these Israelites over all these centuries, I don't see how nobody gonna be pressed to charge anybody about climate change. I just do not. And Kalmus called out Biden, in particular, leader of the world's largest economy and the second largest polluter after China and just ahead of India by some measures. When population differences are considered, the U.S. can be ranked first. Biden's refusal to declare a climate emergency and his eagerness to push new pipelines and new drilling at an even faster pace than Trump goes against science and goes against common sense, goes against life on Earth, Calmus wrote. So this is interesting. So now it's like they're trying to call Papa uh, anti-climate change. So I don't know if they are playing both sides, doing the Hegelian dialectic, where they are appearing to press him, but when all actuality, they're all on the same team. They're just actors. The outcome has already been determined. They have several outcomes, but this is just part of the acting that they have to do in order to get us to go along with it, I guess. That's the best way to say it. In the world of politics, as usual, with its short term goals and calculus of safer to follow than to lead, I suppose there are reasons and rationalizations for this planet destroying choice. And he continues, speaking as a scientist, it seems ignorant and short sighted. It's certainly a form of climate denial. He sure is indignant. Dang. I'm just like, It's not that serious, son. It's not. It's just hot. It's hot. Um, I don't know if they pressed because they don't have no melanin and they know they can't take all this heat. Black folks good. So I'm just a little suspicious. That's the other reason. I'm like, wait a minute now. This is a little too extra for me. It's a little too dramatical. And I have no doubt that fossil fuel executives and lobbyists and those who chose to stand with them will in the future be considered criminals. The veracity of the remarks prompted Biden's traveling press corps to push the White House for a response Friday to charge that not declaring a climate emergency was in fact anti-science. So you see how they're doing. So they're saying, and this is primarily to his ignorant base and to all those people who buy into this climate change stuff. What they are basically saying is if he don't declare an emergency, then he's anti-science. Now, it was follow the science when he got into office. Get them in your body or you anti-science. And now so they're using his own words against him. So y'all know the dominant society is sick. Ah. Karine Jean-Pierre, the president's press secretary, who had spoken on Biden's climate effort earlier, said, I don't really have much more to add. Of course, she don't never have nothing to say to what I just laid out about what we've been able to do. The president believes in science, which is why he talks about climate change, which is why he said the climate crisis is real, right? Jean Pierre, who was interrupted during his remarks this week by a Gen Z audience member demanding more climate action in recent days, has offered a list of federal spending and other White House initiatives that she argues means Biden has done more on climate change than any other administration. Boy, every administration done more than any other administration. If that ain't the biggest lie every president tells, I don't know what is. His economic agenda has already led to over 100 billion in private sector investment. So you see they're taking public money, investing in private businesses, in domestic clean energy manufacturing. He put the United States back on track to reach clean energy goals, reducing greenhouse emissions in half by 2030 and reaching net zero by 2050. Yeah, it's going to be net zero because ain't going to be no earth. It's going to be a new earth. Ain't going to be no nothing. It's going to be net zero, all right. These things are going to make a difference as we are dealing with climate change, she said. So, okay, so I wanted to see about this man, the Paul, whatever his name is. So I started doing some research. So I went to his website. So let me go back to home first so y'all can see Buddy Rowe. So this is his personal website. So his name is Peter Kalmus. He's a climate scientist and author of Global Warming is Happening with a Rapidity That Leaves Me Speechless. I don't know if that's the name of his book. I guess maybe that's a quote. But his little site is pitiful. Anywho, I went to research because that's where the tea is. So he has his research posted, which I found interesting because the research is fairly recent. If you look at um so he has some research he did back in 2012 and 2016, like this one, satellite data fusion. It was 2016. The objective of this project is to develop methods for fusing measurements of a single process, near surface temperature, relative humidity, or vapor pressure deficit, a measure of plant stress made by multiple satellites, into a single better product. In addition to the fundamental goal of improving how we extract information from satellite remote sensing, We are also producing optimal data records that will improve applications such as drought, fire, and agricultural forecasting. This work is funded by NASA's AIRS project. So I was like, this is interesting. And so then I just started going through the research. This one, surface biology and geology. He's working on this now. Supporting mission design as project data scientist. Very vague. Unity, 2020 to present. Cloud based science data software as a service system. I am co leading design of the analytics service. So he's not giving you a whole bunch of information about this project because he's still doing it. This one, 2021 to present, wildfire prediction, leading a small team in a pilot project. Oh no, don't die on me now, computer. This one, interesting. It says severe convection from space. In 2017 to present, says he began leading a team on a 3-year project to determine from remote sensing how the convective environment capable of producing extreme storms over the US Midwest has been changing and how those changes relate to global heating. Now, do y'all see what I see? I hope you got your tinfoil hats on. So, all of a sudden, it's hot in the Midwest and he's screaming. But he's been getting funding to do this stuff for some time. So it says this is a continuation of work I began in 2017 to determine which environmental factors distinguish tornadic supercells from the non-tornadic supercells. Elucidating such questions from remote sensing is challenging as existing and legacy atmospheric sounding satellites typically pass overhead several hours ahead of storm initiation. So I was like, this is interesting. A whole lot of studying from satellites and collecting data and sensing, and then now you want to call a national uh, emergency, climate emergency now. This is another NASA project, but he had a couple of other ones. Extreme humid heat projections, 2022 to present. This one, I'm leading a world class team to produce state of the art projections of extreme humid heat at the neighborhood scale for the world's cities and to relate those projections to human morbidity and mortality thresholds. In other words, under different greenhouse gas emissions scenarios, when are urban specific neighborhoods in the world projected to become unlivable due to wet bulb temperatures beyond human endurance or survivability? This work is in partnership with Red Cross Red Crescent. Okay, I hope y'all tracking. I can't go into what I want to go into. I'm going to put this page in the description. But y'all need to do some research because this is just interesting. Just real interesting. So I was like, I want to see. Um, I went to his about page, and on his about him page, he had something about, oh, I can't remember where it was. It was someplace. Um, Make sure you read his about page too. But anyway, I think I typed in a search because he was affiliated with another organization called the Post Carbon Institute. And that's where I found his bio. So I typed in his name, and his info came up on this page. So I'm gonna go back and show you how I did it. Okay, so yeah. So he's listed on this website, the Post Carbon Institute, which got me like, everything is about carbon emissions, zeroing out carbon emissions, reducing carbon emissions. So then I got really suspicious because to me, that's like the climate agenda driven type of language that he's affiliated with. So I just started going through here, and then I started trying to find out about this organization. So it says it's the Post Carbon Institute. It is in Oregon, and it just says he's a climate scientist and he's an advisor. And it has the same old stuff that he posted elsewhere. Same buzzwords, nothing exciting. So I was trying to figure out who is this organization? What is this organization about? So I went to About Us. And so I want to see what the Post Carbon Institute was about. And so it says founded in 2003. Post Carbon Institute's mission is to lead the transition to a more resilient, equitable, sustainable world by providing individuals and communities with the resources needed to understand and respond to the interrelated ecological, economic, energy, and equity crises of the 21st century. Now, I found these colors of this site interesting because those are the UN's colors. But anywho, never let it be said I said nothing. So it says, we envision a world of resilient communities and relocalized economies that thrive within ecological boundaries. Oh, so much fluff. So here are the issues that they address. The big picture. The interrelated crises of the 21st century can't be solved with simple technical adjustments. Understanding and responding to them intelligently requires us to think in terms of systems. The Great Unraveling. Humanity is entering the Great Unraveling, a time which individual impacts are compounding to threaten the very environmental and social systems that support modern human civilization. Community resilience. A resilient community is one that can maintain its essential identity while adapting to change. Building community resilience is a critical response to the sustainability crises of the 21st century. The energy transition. This is a big one. And it explains why he called to end fossil fuels in that piece that he did in The Guardian. So he says, we can no longer ignore the ever rising, not him, but this site. It says, we can no longer ignore the ever rising financial, social, and environmental cost of fossil fuels, nor can we ignore questions about what a truly renewable energy future will look like. Limits to growth. Where y'all heard that from? The sustainability challenges humanity faces are interrelated facets of one essential truth. The planet cannot support ever more economic growth and resource consumption. So they're getting ready to cut y'all stuff. Their strategy, grow collective understanding of the tools required to make sense of the poly crisis, especially systems thinking, energy literacy, and environmental literacy. Promote community resilience as the way to build thriving, relocalized neighborhoods, towns, and cities capable of withstanding coming disruptions. Notice they said coming disruptions. Support a growing movement of innovators and early adopters who can develop best practices and provide leadership both now and during future crises. So now keep in mind this place was This site was founded in 2003. So I'm not gonna keep on going into this because they don't really be talking about nothing that we already heard before from WEF, UN, the owl that the organization that makes the owl sound, the computer guy who knows all things. They all saying the same thing. So I started going looking at the staff, and when I looked at the staff, I just saw the alien people. Nothing to see here. Although this name right here is very familiar, and we're going to talk about it another time. So then I went to look at the board members. And then you look at the board members, nothing. Then I want to look at the advisors before I went on to check out the financials. So, like, it's just, I don't know. I can't explain it. It's just like, to me, I'll say a shell organization. So I I said, well, let me go to the financials because I don't really see nothing that I'm looking for. And so I went to the most recent 990 form. And if you don't know about 990s, these are the tax returns for nonprofit organizations. I look at these all the time because when I look for grants for organizations or I do research on foundations and nonprofit organizations, there's some things that I want to know. The very first thing that popped out at me was this: Meta Foundation doing business as Post Carbon Institute. Meta Foundation. That's Facebook. So I said, okay, now, I, and so I just, I started going through the 990. I didn't really see anything in the 990, but what threw me for a loop was the fact that this foundation was Meta Foundation. So I said, well, let me go see what Meta Foundation is because I don't know what Meta Foundation is. But I wanted to make sure it was associated with the metaverse and Meta, which is Facebook. So I went here. Sure enough, it's meta.ngo. Meta Foundation. You see Metaverse over there, Metaphor Foundation. And if I had Watchman Nehemiah, he could tell you what all these symbols and signs and all this stuff mean. I don't know. I know it means something. I just don't know because that's not my area. That ain't my lane. But let me tell you about this place or this organization. So it says the Meta Foundation promotes cultural, social, and environmental sustainability through the metaverse. Inspired by concepts of hospitality, we see the metaverse as a more inclusive and collaborative space to travel, discover, engage with new and existing worlds with purpose. From aligning with ambitious and important UN goals to supporting specific communities and organizations, the Meta Foundation addresses these real world issues through engaging in actionable virtual projects and initiatives. This is the part that threw me for a loop, but let me know. It's a dead cat on the line. Positioning itself as a true Web3, that's Web 3.0, native nonprofit organization, the Meta Foundation relies on a DAO, decentralized autonomous organization, to identify relevant initiatives and commission works from artists, activists, and other organizations to broadcast in the metaverse. Furthermore, the foundation provides the relevant training and resources for the selected communities to sustain the projects autonomously beyond their launch. As projects multiply and represent more and more communities and causes internationally, the collective body of work will eventually constitute a more sustainable and purposeful way of traveling. So, this is the collective. What that means, your guess is as good as mine. But then I started looking at the partners. So I was like, what is this? It just doesn't make any sense. So I don't know what to say about this. The last thing that was weird about this whole thing, this rabbit hole, was this prayer flag. I just found it interesting that this is something that they would have on their website. So I want to talk about it before I close this crazy rabbit hole. But to go back to now, I ended up here trying to figure out who this Peter man was who was talking about declare a national emergency for climate. Uh, I'm telling you, this stuff is wild. Okay, so it says the Prayer Flag Project. The Meta Foundation, in collaboration with Vast Bhutan and the Rubin Museum of Art, pioneers virtual travel with a collection of 1080 NFTs, spreading good wishes and positive messages from Bhutan, a small Buddhist kingdom in the Himalayas that measures happiness instead of gross domestic product across the metaverse. Sales will support educational programs and the cleaning up of the mountains surrounding Thimphu, Bhutan's capital city. So, prayer flags promote peace, compassion, strength, and wisdom to benefit all beings across the universe, from handwritten pieces of silk to wood block printed cloths to mass produced prints on synthetic polyester fabrics. They have always been produced through purposeful use of available technologies and materials. Today, prayer flags embrace the digital future as NFTs. So here's the impact. Now y'all see where these people going now. They ain't got Yahuwah, Yahweh, Elohim, Abba nowhere. Spread your prayers. Look at this. Look at it. I know it's some symbolism in here, but I just can't get it. So if y'all know what it is, y'all can put it in the chat or in the comment section. So it says, spread your prayers. Send prayers and good wishes, evoking, promoting, and promoting peace, compassion, strength, wisdom to benefit all beings across the universe. Support Vast Bhutan. Sponsor Library Art Collective Vast Bhutan. NFT sales will contribute to their educational programs, teaching their students about Web3 technology. So you see how it's slick, they really trying to get people into the metaverse and into the Web 3.0. Clean the mountains. Free the mountains surrounding Thimphu, Bhutan's capital city, of their accumulating, fallen, faded, and entangled polyester prayer flags. And then join our community. The Meta Foundation supports real world issues from ambitious UN goals to empowering specific communities through Web3 projects and initiatives. So, They ain't trying. One thing they ain't trying to do, baby, is get you with the most high. All right. Well, these are little prayer flags. But anyway, I just wanted to share this with you because it's so weird. It's so weird. Um, what are here we go. What are the SDG 17? Boom. United Nations' Sustainable Development Goals are a universal call to action to end poverty, protect the planet, and improve the lives and prospects of everyone everywhere. The 17 goals were adopted by all UN member states in 2015 as part of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, which set out a 15-year plan to achieve the goals. To learn more about these goals, visit the site. Um, so look, we cannot be believing all these stories that they putting out about how hard it is. At the end of the day, y'all see what time it is. So this person that I just happened to look at, Paul Kalmus. Paul is tied to Meta Foundation, which is tied to the UN Sustainable Goals. Like they don't even hide it. They ain't even hiding it. So, you know, the uneasiness or the dishonesty that we feel and see this urgency, this push to hurry up and do something, there's an agenda behind it. So that's what I wanted to show you. But you gotta start taking the time to go through this stuff and look and look and look and look and look. It's annoying. You gotta like to do research. You gotta sometimes know where to look. But if you've been following me for any amount of time, I like to kind of take my time sometimes and go through these processes with you so that you can do your own research and start looking at stuff. I started with a name. I read this story and my BS flag went up. And so I wanted to know about this man. And so I started looking at his research and I was like, wait a minute, this research is relatively recent. But in the news, they were like, it's the hottest ever. But all his research is recent, and it's all got to do with stuff in space and sensors and collecting data and clouds, and so like nothing from the article made sense when you think about just the brief synopsises of his research, and then you look at what organizations are you know are he is he affiliated with. And on his site, he didn't really have a whole lot. So I had to do a search for his name. And this one organization came up that was associated with carbon. Carbon is the buzzword because it's associated with the sustainable development goals. And then I just kind of go through this rabbit hole. But at the end of the day, I done found through searching financials that this place, the Post Carbon Institute, is really the Meta Foundation. The Meta Foundation is on board with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So everybody, these platforms we're using, y'all looking at this Facebook founder just created a new platform to compete with Twitter, which is now X. Like everybody is playing y'all. We all being played. We all being played. So I question the 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 heat. I question whether or not there really is a global boiling going on. To me, it just seems like they want to get this agenda uh, on board because they know that time is running out for them. And again, don't believe the hype. Yeah, it's hot. It's summertime. It's supposed to be hot. Is it hotter than any other time? I can't really say. I have lived through some real hot times. I've lived through some regular summertime hot times. But to say it's the hottest on earth, I can't say because I ain't been here all as long as the earth has. None of them have. So, just be careful about what you believe. Be careful about what you read. Be careful about being pressured to go along with these agendas. And for heaven's sakes, please speak up. You know, don't be afraid to counter some of this stuff. Don't create your own videos. Challenge folks. Um, this right here is the Lord's work. We gotta wake people up and show people that this stuff is not a game. These people are out here really using these evil communications to deceive us. So, while we still can, use the internet. Look for stuff. Figure out, what the truth is, because they'll tell you a little bit of truth, a whole lot of lie, make it sound good, use some nice words and tell a story. The next thing um, you know, you misled. So let us be wise in this hour and not be believing what these doggone demons telling us, because they some kind of evil. Um, so I'm done with this video. I just wanted to show y'all what I found. It's a disgrace. It's a shame, like we used to say back in the old days. It's a shame for God and man. It's just a shame. It's shameful. They ought to be ashamed of themselves. I ain't never seen nothing like these times in my life. Ever. I've not been so untrusting of everything. And it's just a way of life for me now. So I don't necessarily have an issue with it, but I know a lot of people do, because they hate for you to challenge their comfort. They like their generic narratives. They like life as is, and they don't like confrontation. um this is an hour where you got to pick a side. You cannot sit on the sidelines. You got to be active. And, we have an obligation to warn people and let people know that these folks are lying, because our sovereignty is at stake. Not that I believe we could do nothing about it anyway, but at least for Yasharel, we can be out here sounding the alarm. Don't y'all believe these folks? Y'all melanin is good. We good. We good. Unless you live in some place that's being flooded or something. But anyway, there's a reason behind this push to declare a climate emergency. We got to stay on top of it. You need to call your representatives. Y'all need to let them know what y'all found. Y'all need to, you know, and I don't even know if that's, I don't know. I don't know. Because at the end of the day, everybody's an actor as far as I'm concerned. Tell people so that the spell will break. People can wake up and the scales will fall off their eyes. Their brains will start working. I don't even care. They don't call no politicians. Tell people. Because like at the end of the day, the more people that stay asleep, the quicker this agenda will be enacted and we'll all be screwed. So the magic is getting people to wake up. And I hate to use the term magic, but the business is getting people to wake up. So just understand, if we don't do nothing, if we don't say nothing, this they're gonna do this. But I just want to put it out there that it's some BS. It's a dead cat on the line. Everybody in bed with everybody. All these aliens and demons and fallen angels and whatever else they got going on out here, they all working together to accomplish their goal. They trying to get as many souls as they can enslaved and get us to go along with it. So don't y'all believe the hype. All right. Please like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content. Also hit that bell notification so that when I upload new content, you will be notified. Make sure you are still subscribed because this channel loses subscribers every week. I think the algorithms just go through and do it automatically. So just make sure you are subscribed to the notifications. Consider following me on Odyssey and Rumble in the event that I am booted from the platform or I get another strike. The next time that I get a strike, I will be incarcerated for 2 weeks. So consider following me on Rumble and on Odyssey because I can upload on Rumble, but you can watch all my old content on YouTube as well as Rumble. I can't I can't do nothing with Rumble. It's too complicated. Um, if you'd like to support the channel, links are in the description. Also, I'm on social media. I'm on Instagram and Facebook. I don't use those platforms, but in the event that I am kicked off of YouTube or banned or whatever, I will send a notice on Instagram and on Facebook if I'm not locked out of the internet altogether. Lastly, if anything happened to me, I didn't do it to myself. I love myself, okay? I love myself. I'm good. I'm a little sick right now, but I'm good. All right. That's all I got, people. Love y'all. Take care. Keep prepping. Keep praying. Keep seeking the Most High. Keep repenting daily for sins of commission, sins of omission. Please keep crying out because we got to get out of this place. These people are crazy. I just don't know how we going to make it. I don't know how we going to stay sane. It's just so much craziness. um so many games, so many, you know, shell games. You just got to be trying to follow the money. Like that's the ticket now. You got to follow the money, and they got a paper trail. Sometimes it might take you a little minute to get to it, but it's a paper trail somewhere. So when these people start speaking out like this guy, follow the paper trail. Follow the truth, follow where it leads. I didn't make up nothing. All I did was took a name and ran with it, and I found what I found. I would not have known that had I not been keeping up with what is going on as far as keeping watch the way the Most High told us to. We are living in an hour where we got to keep watch. This is a part of keeping watch. This is my contribution to keeping watch. What is your contribution to keeping watch? Who you talking to? Who you telling? What are you doing? Are you sharing information? Are you trying to wake your brethren up? Do your part to keep watch and help wake up the brethren because time is running out. They are accelerating the plan because either too many people are waking up or something else is going on. But they are trying to speed up this agenda and we need to be on it. All right, this is Marley K. Love y'all and I'm out.